It is indeed lunchtime news on Kenya Decides, and talking about Kenya deciding 6 electoral positions are up for grabs today. 2 gubernatorial, 4 parliamentary and 2 civic. And we are keeping a keen eye on the same. Good afternoon. My name is Njue and this is KBC Lunchtime News. Glad you could make the time. And we have been having a comprehensive coverage of all the elections. And we are here. We will be updating you on the latest. We begin in Mukuru Kwanjenga, where Irene Mchuma Odim is currently on standby to give us a feel on this election day. Irene, if you can hear me, kindly bring us up to speed.
How are you?
Troy, good afternoon. It is a sunny day from this end. We are coming to you live from Embakasi South constituency, the Kwanjenga ward. This is the day that the electoral national body said that the electorate in this end will elect their member of county assembly. The area has 17 aspirants who are eyeing the seat. And how did we come to this day, Troy? You remember the Wiper Party aspirant Muhammad Adan said that the exercise should be nullified when the country was going for the general election on 9th of August, citing irregularities by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. According to the Wiper Party aspirant Muhammad Adan, his name was missing on the ballot that day, and he said that his name needs to be included so that he can also take part in this election just as he had planned. And Troy, how has it been since the morning hours? We have witnessed low voter turnout. Security has been heightened, and I can confirm that no voters who are allowed to camp from these polling centers, because when they camp on these polling centers, they are likely to cause disruption. And we have been told by security officers that once a voter casts his or her vote, he's supposed to leave the polling center to allow easy flow of activities. This as the electorate here at Kwanjenga cast their vote. But then, without further ado, let me bring on board the returning officer for Kwanjenga ward. He's the one who will tell us the final results. He's the one who will tell us who is the winner at the end of the day. And by the way, Troy, this is the tallying center. This is the Chemineda ward, where the returning officer, Bwana Hudson Mugo, will be announcing the winner of this electoral exercise. Bwana Mugo, bring us up to speed. Tell us what is the situation right now? We witnessed low voter turnout in the morning, and would you know the percentage of people that have already cast their vote up to now?
Thank you. So far, we have a very low turnout. As of 11, we are around 12.5% turnout. And by this trend, we expect at the end of it between 40 to 50%. Basically, this could be attributed to having just general election the other day, and now that we have just 2 weeks after that. So generally, is the apathy, and that is a position for now.
Could it be most people don't work within this vicinity? That's why we have witnessed this low voter turnout, or could there be any other challenges in line with this?
I don't think we have many voters working outside this ward. I think it's generally people are not interested. And the reason is because possibly they are still tired from the experiences of the 9th general elections.
How would you rate the electoral process from the way it began? And this, as we will be waiting for you to announce for us the winner, what time will we be expecting this final announcement?
Basically, we started quite on time. We opened our stations. All of them, they voted too, at exactly 6 a.m. We intend to close all of them by 5 p.m. And once they are through with the process of counting, By 10 p.m., I expect that we'll have announced the winner for Kakamega ward.
Right, that is Bwana Mugo Troy, and we are not giving up at this point. We will stay here until all the exercises in this end, from this end, come to an end. Just to let you know, from what we have gathered from this end, we have 27 polling stations from the Kakamega Primary School, and here at Cheminade we have 15 polling stations, and each and every polling station has at least on the minimum 600 voters. But just as Wanamugo has said, there is low voter turnout, and you could hardly tell if a polling station has been able to attain half of what is required or a half of registered voters at a given polling station. And so far, that is the mood here, and we will be letting you know as events unfold. Troy, and I'm informed Njue is on standby to Mombasa County. Njue, bring us up to speed with the latest information from that end. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Irene Chuma. We are coming to you live from Majengo Mwembe Tayari ward in Mvita constituency, where today we have been traversing the county of Mombasa from morning just to get a feel of what Mombasa residents are doing so that they can be able to choose their second governor here today. And that decision, we are expecting the announcement by late in the night after the conclusion of these elections that have that are expected to end at around 5 p.m. Now, let me be joined by one of the polling agents just to give us a feel of this polling station. Karibu sana. Tueleze tu hichi ni kituo cha Patel. Yes. Kuanzia asubuhi hali imekuwaje pengine na watu waitwa nani kwanza?
Jina langu naitwa Hassan Abdalla. Hali hapa paka sasa hii imekuwa iko chini sana, turnout imekuwa ndogo sana paka sasa hii. Tuna hope yani baada ya saa 8 kutatokezea watu wengi wengine waje kupiga, sababu paka sasa hii tuko chini sana kupigaji kura hapa.
Kwa mtazamo wako ni kipi ambacho kimefanyika ama huenda kimefanya watu kuweza kutokea kwa idadi ndogo?
Ni sababu pengine hawajaamua kuja ama kuna shughuli zao nyumbani, lakini hope by saa 8 watakuwa wamefika wote wapige kura hapa.
Umeweza kutembea pengine katika wadi tofauti hapa Mvita na kuona kwamba watu wameweza kuongezeka ama hali ni sawia na hapa Patel?
Hali inaonekana ni sawa na hapa tu. Lakini pia tuna matumaini ya kuwa watakuja tu.
Asante sana. So since morning we have been traversing Mombasa. My colleague Ann Buru and I have just been monitoring the situation. As early as 6 a.m. We saw that voters came out in numbers from 6. However, according to if you differentiate between the August 9th polls and today's polls, the turnout is generally low. Now, we had a chit chat with some of the residents across Mombasa County. There are several reasons. One of them, they are demoralized following the outcome of the 9th polls. Number 2, they are fearing of their safety. However, we have not witnessed any incident compared to the August 9th general election to warrant that the area or the county is at risk security-wise. Number 3, most of them are waiting for incentives, and which is against the law. So the supporters or the candidates have been urging their supporters to come out in large numbers so that they can be able to vote. As early as 9, the polling stations were as similar as this one. No one had the turnout was a bit low, and of course it made some of these polling agents who are some of the political class to come out and mobilize to make sure that the residents have turned out in large numbers. I'm joined by my colleague Marku just to give us a perspective of Mvita constituency before I bring you up to speed on the other constituency. Marku, tangia asubuhi umekuwa katika eneo bunge la Mvita. hali ikoje? Watu hawajajitokeza, umetembea katika vituo tofauti, hali unaionaje?
Naam, asante sana June, na kama unavyoona hali halisi, hiki ni kituo kimoja ya vituo 201 katika eneo bunge hili la Mvita, na hivi tunavyozungumza saa 7 imewadia, lakini kuanzia asubuhi.
Okay, for now, Njue, first of all, let's cross over to Kakamega, where outgoing Governor Wycliffe Oparanya is currently voting, and as you can see, he is having a presser. Let's first of all listen in.
It's okay. People should come out and vote so that they are able to elect a governor that will take care of their interests in the next 5 years.
What could be the number of issues that have actually been raised? One, we've just witnessed your spouse having difficulties in actually getting her biometrics in the KIMS kit, and then 2, also there have been allegations across the county of voter bribery and intimidation.
That one I got, and I witnessed quite a number of cases, and police have arrested quite a number of people. They are under the custody of the police. And these people actually are, most of them, if not all, are from the ANC party, which is supporting Malala. So they are engaged in cases of bribery, and it's unfortunate also the failure of this KIMS equipment. It has been rampant, which has delayed also some people delayed to vote. But since the turnout is low, then at least everybody is being attended to.
This is your polling center, and there is at least below 30% of the people who have voted. What could be the reason why people
This is general, the whole county. I can tell you that Lukuyani, at the moment, only 10% have turned up. Here is at least better, 17% have at least turned up. So I know this is being treated as by-election, and what happened in the presidential vote actually has affected people's spirits. Most people have not come out because they believe that they
We do apologize for that weak signal, but from Kakamega, let's go back to Njue. And Njue, apologies for that, but one question though, listening to the outgoing governor, he's talking about there's some few incidents here and there, but police have been able to quell that. Any incidences that we should know?
The Cyber Act of
Right, Ben Troy, we haven't gotten any word from the police. We have not had a brief from the police on any incident that have been reported. What we know of is the candidates have been recorded on camera talking about a few incidents. Each side is just accusing the other side of using voter bribery today. We haven't been able to witness any of those incidences that are being accused or there remain allegations on our end, so we are not able to substantiate some of these accusations that are being made. Of course, we've heard from Hassan Joho, we have heard from Abdul Swamad, we've also heard from Hassan Omar. All of them are talking about voter bribery, but we are not been able to substantiate those claims. They say that they have reported to the police. However, the police are yet to give us a nod that they have been investigating those incidences to ascertain to us that they are true. However, Ben Troy, I'm joined by my colleague Marco from Pwani FM to just give us a perspective of this constituency that I am in. This is the constituency that both gubernatorial aspirants casted their votes. In the morning, we had Abdul Samad Sharif Nasir of the ODM party who cast his vote at around 9 a.m. and then Hassan Omar followed at 11 a.m. and they were all happy and anxious. They were both also sure that they're going to win this race. All that we have to wait until in the evening. My colleague Maku from Pwani FM is just going to give us a brief perspective. How many polling stations, polling centers are in Mvita constituency, as well as how many registered voters are here, and how about that turnout that we're talking about that is low in each and every constituency?
Okay, June, in general, we have 18,974 registered voters in Mvita constituency. And we have 5 wards, that being Old Town, Majengo, Ganjoni, Tononoka and Chuda. And as we speak, since morning, the turnout has been very low. I've been to different polling stations. Out of 201 polling stations, I've been to more than 50 polling stations, and the situation on ground has not been so good, as the low turnout has been witnessed in various polling stations. And June, the situation is quite disturbing, as most of the polling stations I've seen in Tononoka ward, there were like no voters completely, only the IEBC officials there. But I spoke to some of the IEBC officials, asking them about the voter turnout, and most of them were so hopeful that as the day goes by, as the minutes or as the day unfolds, maybe the voters will turn out and vote.
Right, thank you, Maku. Now, as my cameraman can just pan for you, this is Patel polling center, where today we are witnessing the voting. As you can see, there are no people, or you can count them as they come in, and this is the situation across all constituencies since morning. We had hopes between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. probably people will come out of their homes and come and vote. However, we have seen that the situation remains the same. We're going deeper into the day. We are hoping that something changes or people come out to change. However, if the day is already midway and this is the situation, we might not see any improvement so far. So in Mombasa County, the voter turnout has been low. There are several reasons. One is they are discouraged from the results that they got from the August 9th polls. Number 2, they are afraid of their security. However, no incident has been reported and no officer has briefed us of any incident. So the mood is okay. However, nobody is coming. Few people are coming to the polling station.
Njue, just one more question. You have said that you have traversed through the Mombasa County various polling stations, and you do remember during the general election we had some dotted incidents of some Kim's kit having issues. Have we had any issues in regards to the Kim's kit?
Right about yesterday's brief, Swalha Yusuf, who is the Mombasa County returning officer, said that they have been disbursed extra Kim's kits in the event these other Kim's kits do not work. It is true that the other elections there were delays and most polling stations did not open on time, but this time the IEBC officials are on high alert. In fact, if you arrive at the polling centers, the queuing agents are on top of their game and making sure that they supervise you to where you're going. So we haven't experienced any delay from the commission side. They are top notch. They are doing their work as compared to the 9th polls. So everything is under control. We haven't seen a situation where they are being forced to use the manual register. Everything is happening electronically, and we are yet to see any incidents of the manual register being taken place. And of course, when it comes to the ink, people are being put on the right hand so that you can differentiate between the 9th polls and these other polls. Ben Troy.
Thank you so much, Njue, live from Mombasa County. And it's not any difference. All the 8 polling states, all the 8 seats that we are looking at or keeping a keen eye on today, low voter turnout has been registered. But talking about Mombasa, let's now cross over to my colleague, Daniel Wahome, who is on the other side of the studio on the magic wall. Wahome, what do you have for us?
Well, thank you very much, Troy, for that. Mombasa County, let's take a look at this county. And what's the story of this county? You know, down in the southeast, it's the smallest county in the country, just 200 and say 200 about 30 square kilometers, and that is just right at the Indian Ocean. But it is the significance when it comes to this of the numbers around the people in this county that is very important. About population of 1.2 million people, that's what we should be taking a look at. And this is from the 2019 population and housing census, and just over half of them are registered as voters. This is as per the 2022 IBC register. So moving on, and let's take a look at it. Tourism, it's the main activity that you will find in Mombasa County, and it's known for also for the residents who depend on fishing for that. And there's also the port, which is not only important, not just for the region, I mean for the country, Kenya as it is, but also for the Great Lakes region. A lot of the goods that go to Eastern DRC, Rwanda, Burundi, the Southern Sudan, Uganda, all pass through the port of Mombasa. So it's a significant county. And 6 constituencies that have been mentioned, Changamwe, Jomvu, Kisauni, Nyali, Likoni, and Mvita. Those are the constituencies that are in that county, and that is where they are. And remember, politically, it has been considered an ODM, an Orange Democratic Movement stronghold, given the number of legislators who have been elected on the party's ticket, as well as the voting patterns in the past 3 elections. And you might as well just take a simple look. The outgoing governor, Ali Hassan Joho, has won that seat twice on an ODM ticket, and he has served as up there in the ODM leadership. And in this election, they won 3 of their parliamentary candidates retained their seat. Mishimboko of Likoni, Omar Mwinyi of Changamwe, and there is Twali Badi of Jomvu constituency. Rashid Bedzimba captured the Kisauni parliamentary seat on an ODM ticket. There is Youthful Mohammed Machale who picked up that, and that was on an ODM ticket. So now, time for us to take a look at the candidates who are there and their profiles. So we'll go randomly. Let's start with one with the PAA party, and we're talking about Kingi William Kazungu of with this. He is a PhD holder, and this is in human resource management, and he was a senior lecturer at the Technical University of Mombasa, resides in Bamburi in Kisauni constituency, and he's served in various administrative positions at that Technical University of Mombasa, and also he has been managing director real estate in real estate management firm Hook Consultancy, and he also served as one of the directors at the Mombasa Water Supply and Sanitation firm. He has got what you'd say some experience when it comes to local administration, which is what was taken up by the devolved government. Let us take now at Omar Hassan of UDA. He is a lawyer. He was vice chair of the Kenya National Human Rights Commission. He served until 2012. He was elected on a Wiper ticket as Mombasa Senator in 2013, but he finished third in the 2017 gubernatorial elections. He finished behind outgoing Governor Hassan Ali Joho. Remember, he is an alumnus of Moi University. Moving on, this is Hezron Awiti with VDP, and he was elected as Nyali MP in 2013. And despite being the fact that he is, he was born in Kendu Bay in Homa Bay County. It's the diversity of this country, and the freedoms are granted by the Constitution. Any Kenyan can live anywhere, seek political office anywhere. He is a logistics manager, Belgian trained, and also runs that, and he is a freight and warehousing man. So the others, Mwakazi Shafi Mwaganda, that's one of the other candidates, and we've got Omar, Said Abdallah, Daniel Munga, and immediate former Mvita MP Abdul Swamad Nasir. So those are the candidates in the Mombasa gubernatorial seat. Back to you, Ben Troy.
Thank you so much for that, Mombasa Raha, right, Wahome? Yeah, but of course, the other candidates, we're going to know about them a little bit later. Let's now cross over, still in the same county. Ann Boro is on the other side of the county and brings us this of course, giving us a little bit more on how things are in that coastal city of Mombasa. Ann?
Good afternoon to you too, Njue from Broadcasting House, and I'm coming live to you from Changamwe Tallying Center. And right now I'll be joined by the returning officer from this tallying center, this constituency, Changamwe. Bwana Charo Kidogo, I would like you to join me on set and just give me a brief and an overview of how many polling stations we have in this sub-county.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Charo Kalume. I'm the returning officer, Changamwe constituency. In Changamwe constituency, we have 152 polling stations in 34 centers. In terms of the elections that is ongoing, we opened our stations at 6. The process is going smoothly. Our challenge so far is the turnout. It's low, but we make appeals. We have continuously appealed to the voters in Changamwe to come out and cast their vote. It's a very simple process. It takes a very short time to cast one's vote. So we appeal that they come out and cast their vote.
Maybe compared to the general elections, what turnout would you put it at in percentage?
Currently, we are at about 20% turnout. So, but we hope that by the end of the day, when we close our stations at 5, maybe more people will have turned out to cast their votes.
As the returning officer, you say that most of your stations were they started on time, that is at 6 a.m. But we've had also, there are a few stations around Chani, they started a bit late because they had an issue with the kit. Maybe you could talk about it.
Yeah, there are, I think, 2 stations had an issue with the kit, but we replaced the kit, and the process went on smoothly. We have not had another issue since then. And even those that opened a bit late, they will have time to recover that time after 5 p.m. So all the time allocated for voting will be consumed today.
Security-wise, how prepared are you this time round? Because the other time there are a few cases here and there. Maybe how prepared are you this time security-wise?
We confirmed yesterday. We've also confirmed this morning that each station has 2 police officers. That is the confirmation we have from the OCPD. We have also moved around the stations. We have seen them. They are in our stations. So in terms of security, we are secure for this election.
That is all we have for you, Njue, as you've heard from the returning officer. The turnout has been very low, but he is hopeful that this afternoon people will turn up in large numbers. When it gets to 5 o'clock, when the stations are closed for voting, maybe we'll have enough people from the 20%. Maybe we'll get to 40% of the voter turnout. Back to you in studio, and we'll continue giving you updates until the end of this for us to know who will be the next governor of Mombasa County. Back to you, Ben.
Thank you so much, Anburul. There, the other side of the county, remember Mombasa County and Kakamega County. We have traded our eyes, our ears, and also our lenses on that to see how that pans out, and especially when it comes to the gubernatorial. But remember, it's not only Mombasa and Kakamega that we are keeping a keen eye on. As you can see on your screen, we have Achola Simon, who is also following up on that. Remember, there are also some civic seats, and also there are also members of parliament who will be seeking 4 seats in the country, Pokot South being one of them, and also Kacheliba. I can see you, Achola, you are ready. Kindly bring us up to speed.
Yes, indeed, Njue, we are already here in Mabole polling station, which is the polling station of the outgoing governor of Kakamega County, Wycliffe Ambetsa Oparanya, and he's actually just cast his vote a few minutes ago, and of course thereafter addressed the media, raising a number of issues, key among them, of course, the universal story that we've actually been hearing here in Kakamega County today from morning up until now, the low voter turnout. And of course, he's been calling on the locals to actually turn up in large numbers to ensure that they actually utilize the remaining time so that then they can actually cast their votes and be counted when eventually the the governor of the Kakamega County is actually going to be announced, of course, later after this exercise is actually done and dusted. The other issue that is actually raised has been the issue of voter bravery and violence that has actually been witnessed in parts of this county. We understand that at Mumias Muslim, which is in Matungu constituency, there was a number of skirmishes that actually erupted after rival groups actually suspected each other in terms of bringing in a staffed ballot box, and of course police moved in quickly to quell the tension. As we speak right now, the exercise is actually ongoing peacefully. The other issue was that there was also another some incident that happened at Bukura TTC, which is not far away from where we are told that there was a group of people who are actually bribing voters and enticing them to vote for a particular candidate. The police also moved in swiftly to ensure that the issue is actually arrested. But that aside, he is actually calling on the locals to turn up in large numbers so that then they can actually be counted. They can actually cast their vote. As we've been saying since morning, the voter turnout has actually been very low, and he's actually attributing that factor to the postponement of this poll, and he says that this is being treated as a by-election. And you know, the history of by-election in this country is such that usually Kenyans turn up. Kenyans who actually turn up to actually participate in the polls is actually very low, and he's actually hoping that eventually the Kenyans who are actually supposed to actually cast their vote in this particular constituency and of course county at large will actually turn up and cast their vote. The other issue that he's actually raised, he says that he will accept whoever wins in this particular election, but he says that there are glaring issues that must be dealt with, one being that of the failure of Kim's Kita. The spouse who was actually casting her vote in this particular stream found it extremely difficult, and actually they had to go again through the same process of actually taking photos of her and the ID after, of course, the Kim's kit failed to identify her biometrics. Of course, that has been the situation in most polling stations. You remember in Mahoho, which is in Kolomani, we actually witnessed a similar case where a lady had actually come and she could not actually find her details in the Kim's kit, and it took almost 8 to 10 minutes before eventually, of course, the biometrics could actually be identified and details identified in the Kim's kit before she could actually cast her vote. The spouse to the governor here in Kakamega County also has had the same challenge, and of course it took about 5 minutes or thereabout to actually solve the situation. So he's actually calling on IBC to ensure that indeed those gadgets are working properly. I don't know if they're actually in a position to ensure that they work within the remaining time. He says that indeed they need to work properly so that then whoever is actually coming is not disenfranchised in terms of casting their vote. The other thing he's also calling on, he's also saying that whoever wins, he will be willing to support them. But of course, he says that we all know his bias. But also, importantly, he says that whoever is actually coming in must be ready to actually finish the many projects that he's actually initiated across Kakamega County. And he says that if indeed those projects will actually be completed, he will be a very, very happy person. Basically, Ben Troy Njue, that is exactly what is happening here in Kakamega County. We are anticipating that, of course, the polling stations will be closing at around 5 p.m. this evening as scheduled by IEBC, and then of course thereafter what will follow is that we will be counting the votes, and we are expecting that around midnight today we will be in a position to actually go start knowing exactly where this vote will be going. Of course, KBC, we are here to actually bring you details as and when they fold. I am here, of course, I'll be covering the lower side of Kakamega County. My colleague Weekly for Ketch is also here, and he'll also be giving you details of actually what will be unfolding in the other parts of Kakamega County. But more importantly, later on in the day, we'll be converging at Kakamega Government High School, which of course is a county tallying center where everything is going to go down. Back to you, Troy Njue.
Thank you, Simon. And as you can see behind him, no voters whatsoever. So it's been characterized, this election has been characterized by very low voter turnout. From Kakamega, we're hearing about some pockets of skirmishes here and there, but the police have been able to quell that. And something that I asked Njue about in regards to some of the failing of the KIMS kit, and that has been reported, as Simon has told us, but IEBC keen to ensure that they have backups to ensure that the voting exercise is smooth. Then from Kakamega, of course, we're keeping our eyes peeled for that. We cross over to Kitui rural election, where the incumbent Kitui rural member of National Assembly, David Mwalika, has threatened to sue the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission, IEBC, for delaying elections that were set to be held on August the 9th. Mwalika was speaking after casting his vote at Mbitini Ward, Kitui rural constituency, while his opponent, Charles Nyamai, cast his vote at Kanyangi Primary School.
6 a.m. at Kanyangi Ward, 3 polling stations were open with voters already queuing to cast their votes. Satisfied with the process, a section of voters expressed their joy in what they termed as a smooth exercise.
Naendelea poa, mimi naona sio kama ile wakati mwingine.
Wakati mwingine ilikuwaje?
Ilikuwa tukisoma huko, sasa hii hakuna kusoma. Tuna delay, sasa hakuna delay.
Endelea vizuri, si kama ile siku nyingine kulikuwa na delay. Mala kuna magaradeza haikuwa.
Former member of National Assembly Charles Nyamai, who was vying through a UDA ticket, cast his vote at 8 a.m.
So good, the preparations right from when the ballot boxes were opened at Seku University, Tallying Center, which I witnessed, up to where we are now. So far, so good.
Drama ensued at the Kanyangi ward after a lady who is said to be an agent was allegedly accused of bribing voters. Incumbent member of National Assembly David Mwalika cast his vote at Mbitini ward. He, however, threatened to sue IBC over the delayed elections, saying he has incurred losses in the electoral process.
Kitu ambayo inahusinisha sana kwa sababu unajua siasa ni expensive. Kwa hivyo tumeingia gharama kubwa sana. Na kitu ya kushangaza ni wakati tulikutana na huyu mwenyekiti Chepkati. Alituomba msamaha tu na akasema hakuna kitu inaweza fanyika. Na mimi kama mkombeaji wa hii kiti nitaenda kotini kudai gharama yangu. Kwa sababu mimi nimeumia kifedha, nimeumia kiroho, familia yangu imeumia, wafuasi wangu wameumia.
The low turnout of voters in the Kitui rural constituency, both candidates expressed optimism of clinching victory after the culmination of this exercise. Reporting for Lunchtime News from Kitui rural constituency in Kitui County, my name is Frederick Mwoki.
Thanks, Mwoki, for that. And for more in regards to this constituency, let's cross over to Ahome.
All right, Troy, and let's take a look at Kitui rural constituency, the parliamentary race and the candidates. So first off, let's start with the incumbent, David Mwalika Mboni. He has been a chief economist with the Ministry of Planning, trained in Ghana and in Nairobi. He was elected on a Chama Cha Uzalendo party ticket in 2017, but right now he's vying for the ticket on a Wiper Democratic Movement ticket. His name is on the ballot. Then we've got Charles Mutisia Nyamai. He's running on a NAC party, the National Rainbow Coalition Party, NAC, and he has been in management at KEMSA and also at Kenya Railways and together with Coca-Cola. And in 2013, MP for Kitui West on a Wiper Democratic Movement Party ticket. And remember, he also was MP Kitui West on a NAC ticket, going for another shot for a parliamentary seat. So those are the names of those 2 key candidates for the Kitui rural parliamentary race candidates' biographies. Back to you, Troy.
Thank you so much, Wahome. And also it's good to remind our viewers that we have 4 parliamentary seats that the voters will be seeking to fill in today. And from Kitui, let's now cross over to Nakuru in Rongai constituency, where, as you can see on your screen, our very own Kevin Wachira is on standby to give us the latest on the voting. Wachira?
Well, thank you very much, Ben Troy. We are here live in Nakuru County. This is Rongai constituency, where we are having parliamentary election. And I'm camped at Kiamunyi Secondary School, one of the polling stations, one of the key main polling stations in this Rongai constituency. And so far, we can report confidently that the voter turnout is still low. For example, here in Kiamunyi Secondary School, a polling station with more than 600 voters, registered voters, only 132 registered voters have turned up to exercise their democratic right. We've been to 3-4 other polling stations earlier in the day. We started off at Masinjeri Primary School, where incumbent Raymond Moi cast his vote at around 11 a.m. Raymond Moi accused his main competitor, UDA's candidate Paul Chebor, and UDA leaders of conspiring with IEBC to intimidate and coerce voters. And he has raised complaints that why is he seeing a number of members elect from UDA party in his constituency roaming around polling stations. And later we caught up with Paul Chebor, the UDA candidate, casting his vote at Solai. And he has responded to those accusations, dismissing them, saying that the incumbent is just panicking because he is sensing defeat. And Paul Chebor has congratulated IEBC for what he says is smooth process in the constituency. We are keeping tabs, looking at how the voting process is going on in the larger Rongai constituency, ahead of joining the tallying center in the evening, where the results will be tallied. That is at Nakuru Teachers Training College. So far, that's what we can report from here, Ben Troy, unless you have a question.
Wachira, just one question. We have had in Kakamega, there were some issues with some Kim's kit. Have we had any cases in the polling stations that you have been able to access?
Well, in all the four polling stations that we have visited this morning, there are no issues. We've talked to voters. They are very happy because they are spending little time at the voting polling stations because the turnout is low. We've talked to the IEBC presiding officers of those polling stations, and they've reported that the process is seamless. There is no issue so far or any challenge that they've faced. Earlier, Nakuru Town East member-elect David Gekaria had a confrontation with some youths at some polling station. He said he had come to observe the process, but some youths in that area, that was Menengai West Ward, we are not comfortable with his presence, and so he was chased out of the polling station. Not much drama. Nothing to report about the challenges.
Thank you so much, Wachira, there from Rongai in Nakuru County. We've been able to pick up a few. Is that it was almost the same script at different locations, because the low voter turnout has also been witnessed in the same constituency. And also incumbent Raymond Moi actually voted at about 11 and made claims that there has been some voter coercion, some bribing, but those are some of the issues that IEBC will be keen to address to ensure that whole process is seamless and smooth. From Rongai, Wahome?
Well, Troy, Rongai constituency, an agricultural constituency that, just outside of Nakuru City. From Nakuru City, as you move out west, you get into Rongai constituency, and also borders, Baringo County up towards the north. So that's where you'd have that. So candidate bios, we can take a look at them here. So let's take. Well, the board has decided that it's not going to be magical at all. So there's always a way around. Luka Kigen, he's running for, he's going under the Chama Cha Mashinani party, and he was the member of parliament for Rongai, and that was in 2007, and still running on that party when we got that. And the other candidate that we've got, Paul Kibet Chebor, running under UDA. His nickname is Mamba, the crocodile, the alligator. He lost in 2017 to the incumbent Raymond Moi, and he's on a UDA ticket. So the other candidate that we should be looking at, and he's running on a KANU ticket, is the incumbent Raymond Moi. He is the son of Kenya's second president, the late Daniel Arap Moi. In 2007, Vide did not win. He was elected in 2013 on a KANU ticket, and he was also retained. He retained the Rongai parliamentary seat on a KANU ticket, and he's defending his seat. So remember, he is the first MP to be elected for more than one term in Rongai since 1988. So a case of an incumbency that everyone's talking about. Let's take a look at Kacheliba constituency. This is in West Pokot County. This is also where the former leader of the leader of majority in the Senate, the Honorable Samuel Pohisio, he has represented this constituency before, and on a KANU ticket and also when he got elected senator. So let's now take a look at those who are there. Under UDA, there is Mark Lomunokol, and he was from 2013 to 2017, he was there on a URP ticket, and remember that he was also from 2017 to 2022, he was on a Party for Development and Reform ticket, the PDR party. He's seeking a third term on a UDA ticket. And the competition is coming from John Lokitare on the Jubilee ticket. 2013, Vide did not win, and in 2017, Vide and also lost on a Jubilee ticket. So he's challenging his main competitor, who is Mark Lomunokol, again, this time on a Jubilee ticket. So there you have it, Kacheliba parliamentary race. That's a candidate by one of the two constituencies in West Pokot County where we're having these mini polls. Back to you, Troy.
All right, thank you so much, Wahome, for that. And we're still keeping a keen eye on what is happening in all the 8 places that we are having the by-elections. And away from the mini polls, but something touching on the polls, religious leaders have urged Kenyans to maintain calm as they await the ruling by the Supreme Court on the presidential election petition. The leaders, drawn from different faiths, have urged the judges to undertake their duty with utmost good faith, fairness, impartiality, and public trust. They have also hailed Kenyans for remaining peaceful during the electioneering period.
It is our prayer and confidence that truth will prevail and justice will be done and be seen to be done at the Supreme Court. On our part as religious leaders, we urge every Kenyan, regardless of their political affiliation, to accept the ruling of the Supreme Court as the position of justice. We take this time to thank all Kenyans for upholding peace and calm during this electoral period. It is a manifestation of democratic maturity that is commendable. Let us all continue with this trend, especially in view of the intensive legal discourses that will be happening this week at the Supreme Court.
Remaining peaceful and calm. And speaking of peace, Kenyans have been urged to live in peace as they await the Supreme Court verdict. Samburu woman member to the National Assembly, Maison Leshomo, says that this year's general election was marred by many challenges that affected the election outcome, denying Kenyans, including residents of Samburu County, a right to have their preferred leaders. The former legislator faulted the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Chairman Wafula Chebukati for allegedly conducting a shambolic exercise.
Na kuangamiza watu, angekuwa ndani kesi kiendelea. Kwa sababu kama si amani tumeweka kama viongozi, hakuna mtu amechochea Wakenya wanalia. Akiona kiongozi wao mmoja alikuwa anahitaji, ameenda. Na si kwa haki, wanalia, kura imeenda wapi? Hebu Chebukati na wafasi wake, watu wa kwanza wale wafasi walikuwa Samburu. Kwa hivyo nataka wa Kenya tuweke amani. Wa Samburu wangu niko tayari, mtulie, tuko na amani, tutafuta amani mpaka court malize kesi.
From Samburu to Kiambu County, where a section of Jubilee members of County Assembly in Kiambu County have urged politicians to wait for the Supreme Court verdict on the presidential election disputes rather than moving across the country politicking. The caucus further called on leaders to desist from insulting the president, saying the head of state was not in the presidential race and therefore he should be accorded respect he deserves as an outgoing president.
We are particularly appalled by the unprovoked statements made by Kiharu MP-elect Honorable Didi Nyoro. And these remarks are clearly intended to subject the president to public odium and ridicule. They're not only insults to the first family, but border on incitement and hate speech. The president was neither a referee nor a player in the just concluded general elections. He was just a fan, like many of us. He is equally shocked by the revelations that are emerging surrounding attempts to bungle the presidential election results. We are therefore calling upon Honorable Didi Nyoro and his ilk to stop dragging the name of the president into their politics of hate and demagoguery. Yes. Yeah. Leave the president alone. Yes. Yeah. We urge the people of Kenya to embrace peace and give the Supreme Court opportunity to determine the presidential election petition currently before the court.
Thank you. And still on matters touching on the election, a section of residents of Marachi West Ward in Butala constituency, Busia County, are unhappy with the move by their member of County Assembly, Simon Maina, and MDG party leader David Ochieng, who are reported to have switched allegiance to join Kenya Kwanza. Maina has, however, dismissed the allegations as mere propaganda. Paulina Simiyu has the details.
Addressing journalists in Bumala, the disgruntled residents say they voted for Maina on the basis of his support for Azimio la Umoja coalition, and it was wrong for him to shift allegiance to the Kenya Kwanza coalition.
Sisi tulimpea kura tukijua yeye ni mtu wa Azimio, lakini kulingana ile maneno amefanya sisi tunakataa. Lakini chenye nawaomba wakazi wa Marachi West tukoe na amani, sheria inafuatwa.
Tunataka atupatie mwelekeo, tupewe mwelekeo mpya. Kama yeye angeweza kujitetea kwa chama cha Kenya Kwanza, apeane mwongozo kwamba sasa yeye anazaenda kule na achaguliwe na hiyo chama ambaye ameenda kule ndani.
In a rejoinder, Maina distanced himself from the said reports, maintaining that he is still supporting Azimio and Raila Odinga. He urged voters to dismiss what he has termed as social media propaganda that he has joined President-elect William Ruto.
Kiongozi wetu ambaye ni David Ochieng, yeye ndiyo aliyeenda Kenya Kwanza. Lakini mimi kama Simon Maina Kuria ninabaki na wanamarachi, na wanamarachi ndio wataniambia kule ambako ninafaa niende.
His sentiments were echoed by some of his supporters who vowed to remain in the Azimio coalition and support its leadership.
Ijapokuwa tuko kwa MDG, hatujatoka kwa Azimio. Sisi bado tuko katika umbrella ya coalition ya Azimio. Kwa hivyo tunataka kutoa tashwishi yoyote ambayo inaweza kusema kuwa tumehamia Kenya Kwanza. Hatujahamia Kenya Kwanza.
Pauline Nasmiu for Lunchtime News.
Let's now put politics and polls aside for a moment. School integrity clubs in Nyanza region have illustrated exemplary performance on promotion and upholding of integrity in their respective institutions. According to Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission Director Vincent Okongo, the club have helped with governance and discipline, thereby reducing school unrests in schools.
Speaking while addressing club members from schools in Kisii, Nyamira, Migori and Homa Bay counties, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission Director Vincent Okongo mentioned that there is currently a program between them and school club members that is under implementation.
The ESCC, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, has a program
of integrity clubs which are set up across all primary and secondary schools in this country. The main objective of integrity clubs is to develop good character among our young people and to promote them and to promote integrity, not only among the young people, but also in schools.
The clubs, which were established in November 2010, were to help in promoting integrity and respect, both for short and long-term benefits of schools and the country.
The intention is for the integrity club members who are students and also their patrons to share experiences on how they are managing these integrity clubs, what measures have they taken to promote integrity in schools, and what challenges are they facing, which we can address as ESCC and also as a school managers in this part of the region.
Kisii School Principal Fred Mogaka, who hosted the forum, lauded the collaboration between school clubs and the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission for inclusion of integrity in the curriculum.
We are happy with the partnership that we are receiving from the Commission, because it will go along in influencing even other member society, right from the young age, that the people should be able to know that as a nation we need to put the resources together in fighting this monster of what we are calling corruption. The new curriculum is part of what will be infused in our students, that right from the word go, even as early as the PP1, students should be able to know their rights. They should also be able to know what is wrong. It's wrong to steal. It's wrong to plunder public resources. And I think it is high time. CBC will solve it.
For Lunchtime News, Efinya Kidi.
And now back to matters touching on the election. The newly elected Embu County Governor Cecily Mbarire has vowed to revive the ailing county health sector in her first 100 days in office. During an inspection exercise of the county's main health facility, Embu Teaching and Referral Hospital, Mbarire came face to face with the deplorable state of the facility, which is now a shadow of its former self. Edwin Austin with that report.
This is the current state of the Embu Level 5 hospital. The newly inaugurated Embu Governor Cecily Mbarire, in the company of Embu Deputy Governor Kenyo Mogo and Kirimari Member of County Assembly Ibrahim Swale, terming the state of affairs here unfortunate. The challenges the hospital face range from acute shortage of drugs, bedding and foodstuffs, all of which she attributed to poor funding and misappropriation of funds.
In a nutshell, the biggest challenge in this hospital is funding. There's no proper budgetary allocation to this hospital, and so a lot of things are not there. Both pharmaceutical and non-pharmaceutical supplies are lacking in a big way, and then of course this need for improvement in terms of management and how things are run and how to just take care of what we have.
The governor said her administration was ready to turn around the health sector within 100 days to alleviate the current affliction that has seen a number of patients leave the hospital in search of treatment in private hospitals.
We are going to deal with the cartels if there are any. There will be no sacred cows. We are not going to leave any stone unturned. We are keen to make sure that the people of Embu County get full services in this hospital. Having talked to a few of the people I've met who had come either to see their patients or coming for treatment, there's desperation amongst the people. So clearly, to turn that around means that anyone in the path of that happening will have to allow us to do it because we must give services to the people of Embu County.
Her deputy Kenyo Mogo said they will decisively deal with the drug theft syndicate that has plagued the facility. On his part, Kirimari Ward Representative Ibrahim Swale promised to push for legislation that will see the facility get increased funding.
Kama serikali tumesema kipaumbele hata ile bajeti kubwa kabisa tunataka ingia katika hospitali kwa sababu hai ni kitu ya maana sana. So be assured that we are not here to victimize anyone, but we also saying that kama mtu atacheza katika hiyo space yetu na tumeanza kusonga, afadhali ajitoe mapema.
Lakini pia ningependa tukubali kwamba kila mtu afanye kazi yake. Kazi ya bunge yetu itakuwa ni kupitisha pesa, na kazi ya madaktari itakuwa kutibu watu wetu. Kwa hivyo tunahitaji kila mtu afanye kazi yake.
Edwin Austin for Lunchtime News.
Now, lower voter turnout characterized elections in areas where the electoral body postponed the exercise that had initially been scheduled for 9th of August. Kakamega and Mombasa are set to elect governors, while 4 other constituencies are set to elect members of parliament in today's mini-poll election, not to mention 4 civic seats. Here's that report.
Regions where mini polls are currently conducted have experienced lower voter turnout similar to the events during the 9th of August election. Among areas where Kenyans are casting their votes are in Mombasa and Kakamega for the gubernatorial seats. During the exercise, the lower voter turnout dominated different areas such as Kacheliba in West Pokot and Pokot South constituency. The election for Member of Parliament kicked off early in the morning across the 2 constituencies, as a few voters streamed into the polling stations to cast their vote. In Pokot South constituency, 3 candidates are contesting for the seat in the 4 wards, with a total of 58,406 registered voters. The current Member of Parliament, David Koseng, vying on the Kenya African National Union Party, is battling out with Simon Kalekem of UDA. In Kacheliba constituency, the current Member of Parliament, Mark Lemunakol, vying on UDA ticket, will wrestle it out with Titus Lote, a KUP candidate, and John Lodinho vying on KANU ticket. Kacheliba constituency has 6 wards with a total of 50,268 registered voters.
And then you can't push external interest to our people. And today, people will now know that it is good. Mwananchi is intelligent. Kwanza ya Pokot South ama Pokot. Yes, because our people, there's some anger inside our people from external forces trying to push their own selfish agenda to our people. That's what they're going.
We hope at the end of the day we should be able to get the MP for Pokot South. Generally, everything is running smoothly, and we hope it will run smoothly to the end. As you know, West Pokot in general is very, very peaceful.
Similar scenes were witnessed in Nyaki West Ward in North Imenti in Meru County, as residents voted to have their MCA elect. According to the presiding officers in different polling sessions, the stations opened as early as 6 a.m., but the number of voters who have so far cast their vote are lower compared to the 9th of August turnout.
Toka asubuhi tufungue kituo saa 12, watu wamejitokeza, hata kama sio kwa wingi sana, lakini tunatarajia sababu ni mapema watakuja na wataweza kuwachagua viongozi wao.
The ward has a total of 21,192 registered voters with 22 wards and has since attracted 16 candidates in total.
Maana hatujaweza kuona zile ambazo tunaita kwa kimombo irregularities, na mimi nafurahi kwa timu ya IBC wanaendesha zoezi hili zima kwa njia taratibu kabisa, kwa njia mzuri sana.
The elections were postponed in the 8 areas following the errors on the ballot papers days to the 9th of August election. For Lunchtime News, I'm Gladys Mungai.
Let's now cross over to business. Human activities are the leading cause of disasters worldwide, since they are contributing to the depletion of the ozone layer that is affecting agricultural production. This is according to the 2022 Global Assessment Report by the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, which indicates that human activities are threatening food provision to millions of people, as well as impending economic and social development.
The latest 2022 Global Assessment Report by the UN Office for Disaster Risk Reduction indicates that human activities are the primary cause of frequent disasters, such as climate warming and extreme weather being witnessed worldwide that are affecting food production. Shipra Narang Suri, who is the chief of the Urban Practices Branch at UN Habitat Headquarters in Nairobi, says carbon emissions due to urbanization in recent decades have destroyed the ozone layer, making it the immediate cause of rising temperature globally. The report by the UN Office for Disaster Risk Reduction warns that 3 billion people are vulnerable to extreme weather that is impacting agricultural production and access to food.
Extreme weather impacts our agricultural production, access to food. It also impacts the availability of potable water, drinking water.
Suri believes the disasters the human race is experiencing is man-made and that they are not natural.
There is no natural disaster. All disasters are man-made. Natural is the weather event, but man-made is the impact of that weather event.
Serena Ndekeremo for Lunchtime News.
In other news, Kilifi County Government plans to build a sports complex, and partner with the national government and investors to revive the county's tourism sector. Kilifi Governor Gideon Mungaro says the devolved unit plans to create a Kilifi Tourism Board charged with promoting tourist sites in the area comprising the beaches, marine national parks, sports and conference facilities.
As the hospitality industry continues to recover from COVID-19 disruptions, international arrivals to Kenya are projected to go up about 75% this year. This is after a strong performance in the first half of the year, where foreign visitors more than doubled to 430,000 compared to 222,765 visitors who visited the country in the same period last year. Kilifi County government is positioning itself for a pie of the growing arrivals and revenue from tourist activities. Kilifi Governor Gideon Mungaro says this would be spearheaded through creation of the Kilifi Tourism Board to market tourist products in the devolved unit.
Once the county assembly is formed, that they could pass is it a motion or a bill to create the Kilifi Tourism Board.
Speaking at the Malindi Golf Club at the close of the two-day Vasco da Gama Open Golf Tournament, Mungaro said his administration plans to increase promotion of sports tourism such as beach volleyball and golf activities to domestic and international tourists.
When people talk about coast, they think about the beach. You gentlemen and ladies, you have a beach right here. So I do not see why I should not come to Malindi, do my golf, do my beach. I saw a number of hotels around, resorts, nice hotels and resorts.
Sports tourism is one of our target areas as we embark on reviving tourism in this region. This is part of the program to see if we can use sports to market tourism both nationally, regionally and internationally.
Mungaro expressed optimism that the expansion of the Malindi International Airport and the upgrading of the Mombasa-Malindi Road to a dual carriageway would boost the tourism sector, as tourists would either land directly in Malindi or take a shorter period of time from the Moi International Airport in Mombasa to tourist sites in Kilifi County. Reporting for Lunchtime News, I am Teresa Mutai.
Elsewhere, more than 60 investors from Europe are in Kenya scouring for investment opportunities. The investors are targeting to invest in the manufacturing, hospitality, health and financial sectors. Professor Maria Africa, who is leading the delegation, say the investors have picked Kenya due to its strategic position as a leading economy in the region and improved investment environment. Strathmore Business School Executive Director Dr. Fred Ogola says the investors are in the country under the tutelage of Strathmore Business School, where they will be trained on how to do business in the country. The investors will be trained on how to negotiate deals in various fields and visit a number of industries in Nairobi, Kiambu and Nakuru counties.
Foreign direct investment. Investors like them, by learning about the business environment, one day they'll be sitting in a boardroom by someone says, can you go to Africa? And say, yes, I know about Africa, I was there. this industry works, this works, and that doesn't work.
Participants from Startmall come to Barcelona to learn about the business environment there. Our participants come here to learn about the opportunities and the way of doing business here in Kenya.
And business are very different from what we do in Spain and what we do here. So I want to learn that point of view.
The Competition Authority of Kenya has approved the acquisition of the medical insurance business of Allianz Insurance Company of Kenya Limited by Jubilee Health Insurance Limited unconditionally. The consolidation is set to help the unified firm to benefit from economies of scale. Here are the details of this and more in our corporate briefs roundup.
The consolidation will involve the acquisition of control of the medical insurance business of Allianz Insurance by Jubilee Health. This will see the acquiring group source for the relevant market in the provision of medical insurance throughout the country. Through this partnership, Jubilee Insurance and Allianz aim to jointly expand and broaden insurance markets across East Africa, leveraging on Jubilee Insurance's deep regional knowledge, extensive networks, and brand reputation with the global expertise and capacity of the Allianz Group. The partnership intends to further reinforce Jubilee Health's regional leadership position by bringing international best practices to its customers in East Africa, addressing evolving insurance risks with relevant products, and will support Allianz ambitions to reshape its footprints and gain market leadership in key markets on the African continent. Elsewhere, Kibugu Coffee Farmers Cooperative Society in Embu County has benefited from a 700,000 shilling revolving fund that is aimed at facilitating the purchase of affordable renewable energy gadgets meant to assist farmers conserve the environment. The fund will also go into skilling farmers to enhance sustainable cooking solutions and help in the utilization of waste products. Farmers lauded the project, noting that the renewable energy equipment helped curb respiratory diseases, with the ones who could not afford the gadgets being replaced with Jiko Okoa at lower prices. Director of the Rainforest Alliance in Kenya, Michael Orangi, called on cooperatives to ensure that the funds benefit all farmers, with the project already having served more than 1,000 of them.
Tumeweza kusaidia wakulima wa kahawa kutoka kwa ile mbinu ya kupikia kutumia mawe tatu na kuni ili waweze kutumia hizi jiko ambazo zimetengenezwa kihalali na zinaweza kutumia kafu ambayo inaitwa briquettes.
Ukiona vile wanachukua hizi jikokoa ni kumaanisha wako na imani. Secondary, au wakulima wengi wao wameshaitwa hapa mara tatu na wakasomeswa different farmers. Kwa hivyo wanachukua hii murandi kama ni murandi wao.
Finally, Lower Kuja Irrigation Scheme farmers are calling on the county and national governments to allocate more funds to support crop production at the irrigation scheme. The rice farmers also raised concerns over pests and diseases, high cost of farm inputs that has seen production significantly reduced.
Na hii irrigation yetu inaweza lesha hii county mzima juu ya hii ukulima. So niko naomba government isaidie ofisi ya irrigation wapate pesa mingi, wasaidie hiyo ofisi, watusaidie na tulime vizuri. Tunataka matinga hapa. Kama mbegu wanaweza peana kwa store huko ya irrigation, tukitaka mbegu tunaweza pata hapo, si lazima tutafute mbegu mahali pengine.
On the county government of Migori to prioritize in terms of supporting farmers in farm input so that they can be able to maximize in the production, because the farmers who are buying about 6 months ago a bag of fertilizer at about 2,300 shillings per acre. Right now it goes to about 7,000.
Dusamo Kami for Lunchtime News.
And moving on, Rwanda is set to debut on global carbons market as Africa contributes less than 3% of global gas emissions. Rwanda, like some few African countries, I beg your pardon. Rwanda, like some few African countries, is preparing to leverage on a market scheme of trading carbon credits, which an entity gets by reducing emissions extensively beyond the required levels and selling them to those unable to meet the reduction requirements. Here are the details of this and other stories from across the continent.
Carbon credits can be traded on both private and public markets. Current rules of trading allows the international transfer of credits. According to the most recent carbon credit report by DNB, the global market for compliance carbon credit is estimated to be worth $237.3 billion, with annual trading volume estimated to be 10.7 billion gigatons. The global volume of carbon credits traded reached 188 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent in 2020, taking the annual traded value to $473 million. According to the report, during the first 8 months of 2021, a total of 229 credits were traded, valued at $748 million, touching record highs. Rwanda has an ambitious target to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 38% by 2030. Meanwhile, U.S. retail giant Walmart Inc., which owns a majority stake in South Africa's Massmart, has proposed to acquire the rest of shares in the company in a deal valued at $78.93 million. Massmart, which has 403 retail and wholesale stores in 13 African countries, recorded a widened loss for continuing operations in the 26 weeks ended June 26th to 903.5 million rand from loss of 358.5 million rand in the year ago period. The retailer had acquired majority control of Massmart through a 51% stake in 2010. Over the past decade, Walmart has had to provide increasing levels of support across Massmart businesses as they continued to underperform due to various reasons, including consumers holding back from purchasing electronics and home goods. Finally, the Chinese-built Ethiopia-Djibouti Railway has started vehicle shipment from ports in Djibouti to Addis Ababa. The 752.7-kilometer Ethiopia-Djibouti standard gauge railway, also known as the Addis Ababa-Djibouti Railway, contracted by China Rail Engineering Corporation and China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation, is the first transboundary railway on the African continent. These will help to realize the major aspirations of railway in terms of facilitating Ethiopia's transportation system and enrich its services towards realizing the two countries' ambitions of building an industrial and economic belt driving the economic and social development of the two countries. Reporting for Lunchtime News, I'm Terry Njenga.
Further afield, shares in Asia have fallen after the head of the U.S. Central Bank, Jerome Powell, said it would continue to raise interest rates to tackle soaring prices. Powell warned that the Federal Reserve's policies will cause some pain to households and businesses. Yeah, those details and others from across the globe.
Higher interest rates makes borrowing more expensive for individuals and companies, which could slow economic growth as well as inflation. Japan's Nikkei 225 index was 2.8% lower during Monday morning trade in Tokyo. In the Asia-Pacific region, the Kospi in South Korea and Australia's ASX 200 were both down by more than 2%, while the Hang Seng in Hong Kong was 0.8% lower. China's central bank cut its lending rates earlier this month after economic growth slowed sharply in the second quarter of this year. Official data showed that profits of China industrial firms had fallen by 1.1% from January to July from a year earlier. Meanwhile, Belgium's energy minister has warned that European Union countries will face 5 to 10 terrible winters if nothing is done to reduce natural gas prices. EU states have been struggling with huge energy price hikes since key gas supplier Russia invaded Ukraine in February, triggering sanctions. Western countries backing Ukraine are trying to cut the amount of Russian gas and oil they import. Russia, which supplied the EU with 40% of its gas last year, has in turn restricted supplies. Electricity prices have also been soaring in Europe and reached record highs this week. Gas is a major source of electricity generation. Finally, U.S. retail giant Walmart, which owns a majority stake in Massmart, has proposed to acquire the rest of the shares in the company in a deal valued at 1.34 billion rand. Walmart has offered 62 rand for each outstanding Massmart share. The retailer had acquired majority control of Massmart through a 51% stake in 2010. Over the past decade, Walmart has had to provide increasing levels of support across Massmart businesses as they continue to underperform due to various reasons, including consumers holding back from purchasing electronics and home goods. The potential offer, if finalized, will provide Massmart with needed access to ongoing financial and operational support from Walmart to sustain its group's turnaround.
From business to the world of sports, Mboni boys emerged champions of the Makueni County Secondary School Games after thrashing Yani boys 2-1 in the football final as the curtains came down on the term 2 games held at Makueni Boys High School. Pepsin Paws called the winner in the second half to earn Mboni boys the victory that saw them lift the overall title. Mboni Boys captain James Okubari said that sport is as a career to many and encouraged sporting activities to be held frequently. Mboni coach Mr. Musili congratulated his team for the victory, saying that the competition had been very tough. Mboni Boys will now proceed to the regional competitions to be held on the 5th of next month in Embu.
Mimi ningeomba kama ingewezekana hii mipira hii kama hii soka hizi sports zingepelekwa kwa the concerned federations zi handle, because ukiangalia mambo na officiating, like hapo officiating ilikuwa very poor, ilikuwa tu chini kulingana na level ya zile venye timu zilikuwa zimejipanga.
Across borders, Hurricanes double and Tottenham Hotspurs a 2-0 win against Nottingham Forest to move them to third in the Premier League table. In Spain, Karim Benzema scored 2 late goals as La Liga champions Real Madrid beat Espanyol 3-1, while rivals Barcelona won 4-0 against Real Valladolid.
Drew in Nottingham.
Kane put Tottenham ahead in the 6th minute with a clinical finish from Dejan Kulesevic's pass just outside the area to score his 200th career goal. Nottingham Forest goalkeeper Dean Henderson saved Kane's penalty kick but could not prevent the striker from adding his second goal 9 minutes from time.
Richarlison.
In the Nou Camp Stadium, Robert Lewandowski scored 2 goals as Barcelona won their second match in a row in a 4-0 win over Real Valladolid to move to the 3rd place in the La Liga standings. Frederick Oluete, KBC Sports.
Northern Ireland's Rowley McIlroy became the first player to win the FedEx Cup 3 times after success on Sunday in the PGA Tour Championship. The 33-year-old overturned a 6-shot lead by Scotty Scheffler to finish 1 clear the American and Soo Jae Im. 4-time major winner McIlroy carded And finally, world champion Max Verstappen blew away his rivals with a commanding performance at the Belgian Formula 1 Grand Prix to take a significant step towards a second successful driver's title. The 24-year-old Dutchman, who started from 14th on the grid, scorched through the field with devastating pace and planned to deliver crushing proof of his and Red Bull's superiority. Red Bull celebrated a 1-2 finish with Sergio Perez finishing a far-off second. Verstappen has now won 9 of this season's 14 races. This was his 29th win of his career and completed a hat-trick of summer victories in Europe. Lewis Hamilton retired on the opening lap after his Mercedes collided with Fernando Alonso's car. Indeed, that's all we had lined up for you for KBC Lunchtime News. But remember, Kenya Decides and Kenya Yaamua continues live coverage with experts. But for me, Njue, and of course my colleague is on the other side, Wahome. But allow me, my director, please allow me to just appreciate these 2-3 SMSs following about the international affairs news from Mtwapa. Congratulations, KBC. That is in regards with the live coverage that we are having. And then from Imara Daima, that is Raston Taiwa, following live news how election at Mombasa and Kakamega, following from Kitale, Kenya Yaamua, we only need peace. That is Evans Bartigay. Allow me just to appreciate that, but we do appreciate you who have been watching us and also following us on social media as we have been live. Remember, the coverage continues. My name is Njue, and Karen Njoroge has been our sign language interpreter for this live newscast. Wahome.
Well, thank you very much for being with us over the past 1.5 hours on Lunchtime News. As you can see, Kacheliba, 4 constituencies and 2 counties which do not have incumbencies. Remember that there are 21 new governors we're going to have in total from those 21 counties where governors have served 2 terms. Kakamega and Mombasa are part of that. So we're going to have all-round coverage of these elections with a low turnout. And remember, it's going late into the night, so we shall find out how this all goes down. But after this, we have got Kamche Medza and Harith Salim, who will be on Kenya Yaamua. Have a good afternoon.
Just switch it off.
Kwa TV.
Mimi niache kazi zangu hapa, nitoke hapa nikamtafute badi na mshauri, namwambia nini mimi sasa?
Kwa hivyo tafadhali usinifanye hasira zangu nikakumalizia wewe, eti kwa sababu nataka kunizuia nisimwone mtoto wangu.
Ni mara ngapi mimi nilikupigia simu kushika na karibu hapa keti atue kwa sababu yako wewe na huyo mtoto wake.
Ati nini?
Sikina safari. Mwanzio wantia majonzi.
Mwanzio mimi. Hebu ondoka nayo chai yako hapa.
I will not allow you to show up in my hotel, giving yourself a chance to brag like this. I will not allow it.
What do you plan to do to stop it?
You know quite well that marriage isn't really my thing. Do you understand? We're all unsuited for marriage.
Where did you leave my baby? What orphanage did you put him in?
I want you to speak to him